Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about how the law is made in the United Kingdom, and what better place to do it other than in central London. So I'm heading there now from Islington in North London. Let's go. Here I am outside the Houses of Parliament. As you can see, there are a few protesters out protesting against Brexit. This is quite normal to have this outside of Parliament. Of course, when people think of the UK, they think of the common law. Now, of course we have the common law, which is judicial made law, but we also have Acts of Parliament, legislation, written law, which is made here in the Houses of Parliament. The Houses of Parliament has a bicameral system, which means there are two chambers, there are two houses. First of all, the House of Commons, which is elected, we have members of Parliament there, and the second chamber is the House of Lords, which is unelected. So for an act to become law, first of all it starts out as a bill, which is an act before it becomes law. So a bill can be introduced by a member of Parliament or a member of the House of Lords. These are known as private members' bills, and they're less common than a bill which is introduced by a government department. Then the bill must pass through several stages in both houses for it to become law. I'm going to tell you about those stages, but I think I'm going to try to get around the front of the Houses of Parliament so that you can have a different view. So let's go. So I did want to stand here, however, unfortunately, as you might be able to see behind me, Parliament is undergoing a little bit of reconstruction, a bit of repair work, so it's not such a nice view. However, I would like to point out that over there, just in this direction, you can see the Supreme Court of the United Kingdom. So on the one side we have the Houses of Parliament, where statute is made, and on the other side the highest court of the United Kingdom, the Supreme Court, where common law is made. I'm just crossing over Westminster Bridge so that we can hopefully get a better view from the other side. But here you go, some famous sights in London. So in order for the bill to become law, it must pass through several stages here at the Houses of Parliament, in both houses, in the House of Commons and the House of Lords. The bill begins its journey through the Houses of Parliament in either house. It's likely that it will be introduced by a government minister who supports the Act and who will explain why it's necessary. Then it will pass through several stages. First of all, the first reading, which is just an introductory reading, there's no debate. Then it goes to the second reading, where the bill is debated. Then it goes to the committee stage, which is where a group of experts really consider the bill in great detail, going through it line by line and suggesting amendments. It goes to what is known as the report stage next, which is quite similar to the committee stage, and then finally to the third reading. And in the third reading, the amendments are considered and they're voted on. After going through this stage in one of the houses, it also has to go through it in the other house. So if the bill began in the House of Commons, it will then go on for consideration in the House of Lords, and then back to the House of Commons for final approval. And it's the House of Commons who really has the final say in the Houses of Parliament. After being approved in Parliament, the bill goes on to receive royal assent, which is approval by the monarch. Of course, in current times now, that is Queen Elizabeth II. And and it has to be said that really this is quite symbolic, and the monarch hasn't said no to an Act of Parliament for rather a long time, certainly not in modern history. Once the Act receives royal assent, it will then be enacted and it will come into force. It will either come into force immediately, or it will come into force at a slightly later date, at a future date, which is known as the commencement date, which will be found in the Act itself. So, thanks for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you're watching on YouTube, then please, you can comment below. Thanks for listening and see you next time.